Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about the 1999 war film, The Trench. Directed by William Boyd, The Trench is about the 48 hours leading up to the Battle of the Somme in 1916. The film prioritizes memory over spectacle, prelude over battle, and the psychic weather of soldiers living inside a countdown. We're dropped into card games, cigarettes, boyish banter, rumors, smutty photos, strict sergeants, and so many more human things. The Trench is about ordinary boys and men who are nervous, restrained, and must face the incoming futility of war. Quick heads up, this review may contain the occasional minor spoiler, but I'll do my best to avoid them. If I do spoil something, I'm sorry, but I won't feel too terribly bad because this movie came out over 25 years ago. Also, I want to thank King Pietro for requesting this review. I appreciate it. For context, the Battle of the Somme is the bloodiest day in British military history. An estimated 60,000 soldiers were killed or wounded within the first 2 hours of the battle. Like I said, this movie chronicles the 2 days prior to the battle. It's a rhythm of orders, postponements, briefings, guard shifts, and tiny comforts amidst impending death. I really like that this movie spent so much time with the men in the trenches. It humanized the young soldiers, most of whom were teens or in their early 20s. The narrative was straightforward and it advanced at a constant pace. The linear cause and effect chain kept the tension simmering without adding spectacle. Where this movie really shines is with the micro missions given to each character and their downtime. Each task revealed a lot about their personalities. For example, McFarlane and Daventry on guard duty revealed that one is a dreamer and the other is a cynicist. One is thinking of love at first sight and the other thinks they're cannon fodder. Hogg and Ambrose getting rations revealed that they were some of the more level-headed privates. They'd already survived some skirmishes and gave the other guys confidence. Sergeant Winter sharing his wife's jam with Beckwith showed that he knew that their deaths were scripted. It was a very human moment for someone who was so strict on the boys to keep them distracted from the horrors of war. Each vignette peeled back layers to each person and helped paint a picture of hopeful, nervous, scared, and depressed men. From Second Lieutenant Hardy's nervous insincerity to Dell's collapsing bravado, when the final whistle blows, you register each loss as a person and not a number. Keeping us in the trenches was a very smart and deliberate choice. Our world is 4 feet wide and 8 feet deep. We never see any combat on screen. It's always in the distance, and this movie makes sure we can hear it. Mortars drop, flares rise, gunshots and screams echo. It forces you to imagine the violence, only ever showing us the occasional hints of the consequences of war. The good thing about the off-screen violence is that the characters also have to imagine it. They try and distract themselves with cigarettes, sleep, and fragile bravado. It works for most of them, but not all. Some shoot their legs to get sent home. Some peer where they shouldn't, and they get shot. The setting and ambience are uneasy, and no amount of jokes and camaraderie can save the men from it. I think one of the best scenes in this movie is when a colonel arrives for a photo op. He lets the soldiers smoke, take their helmets off, and promises they'll have less than 10% casualties and hot meals before 11 a.m. the next day. It's pure propaganda, and the false assurances hurt because these young kids believe in their leaders who are sending them out to die. While I really like the restrained approach in this film, I think the ending of this movie fell a little flat for me. When the whistle blows, the British soldiers charge, but we never see the enemy they charge against. We see soldiers walking in lines and getting picked off. I know that the intent was to show that these soldiers were doomed, but the lack of a tangible enemy stifled the stakes. Additionally, each character's death felt more like a slideshow with somebody pressing next. I feel like I wasn't given time to mourn each character's death or anguish. For example, in 2022's All Quiet on the Western Front, seeing the soldiers fight and get absolutely massacred is so heartbreaking. Their screams and agony are haunting. This movie didn't have that. We didn't have many close-ups of each character, so the actors didn't have the opportunity to make us feel something more. Again, I think the movie did a wonderful job of building up to the battle. I just don't think it capitalized on all the work it did. Building off of my close-ups complaint, which could be due to the technology and filming techniques at the time, the characters are the bread and butter of this movie, so more close-ups would have let us analyze facial expressions and let the actors continue to do the heavy lifting. The actors are usually framed from a distance, which sometimes makes it hard to capture those micro expressions and tics that actors usually have. Again, I think that's something All Quiet on the Western Front excels at. We see every feeling a character expresses because there are so many close-up shots when we need them. Building even further off of this complaint, I think the movie can be very dark at times. When it's nighttime, it's hard to see what expressions the characters have. I can hear them clearly, I just can't see them well. These aren't major complaints, I just think there's small details that could have helped make this movie a little bit better. The cast themselves all do great. Paul Nichols, Daniel Craig, Julian Rentut, Danny Dyer, James Darcy, Tam Williams, Anthony Strachan, Michael Morland, Cillian Murphy, Kieran McMenamin, Tim Murphy, and every other supporting character are all great. They don't play heroes, just very human men. I appreciated that they felt like real people and not mythic warriors of old. Honestly, the more I think about it, the humanization of the soldiers makes their deaths feel more like an erasure of people, souls snuffed out. I'm repeating myself, so I'll be brief and wrap up, but the film had a heavy focus on the trench. It's very confined and delivers an oppressive squalor. This is good, but it comes at the cost of capturing those close-up emotions. Unlike most movies, the emotions are largely driven by the characters and not the music. The score is good, but it's used sparingly. Instead, this movie focuses more on natural sounds and ambience. I really enjoyed this because the silence is heavy. It really hammers home the film's theme of restraint. The Trench is a modest but tragic war film focused on the human element of war and how boys turn into walking targets. Its best ideas are in the build-up, micro-missions, coping rituals, gallows humor, and the way sound and stillness make you feel time-tightening. I wish director Boyd pushed in closer with brighter faces and more coverage on the final moments to fully cash in on the emotional equity he built up. The walk into gunfire finale felt a little more illustrative than immersive, but even so, the film's restraint and human performances give the film a moral clarity that lingers. It humanizes these men so completely that the finale feels like an erasure of souls. For me, that's the point and the power. The Trench doesn't overwhelm you. It sits with you, steady and sad, long after the credits. So if you value character, atmosphere, and an anti-war stance, this film delivers it with a quiet conviction. Thank you for listening to my review of The Trench. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. King Pietro, thanks again for requesting this review. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.